Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast. I am Tim Gillette, your host and the creator of the Simple Easy Marketing System. Today, I want to talk to you about something. I believe in my heart of hearts that many of you are missing success, not by inches, not by centimeters, but by miles. No, I know most of my listeners aren't, because most of my listeners are successful people, just like you are. You're successful. You have a business. You're marketing your business. You're doing things to actually succeed. When you have a setback, you study it. You learn from it. You actually dig in and go, okay, what did I do wrong? And let me make sure I don't do that again. But are you learning from your competitors' mistakes? Are you watching the films of the competitor when they fail to learn from that? I know a lot of people in our world today are missing success, and a lot of them are listening to this podcast. For the most part, I am lucky to have you, the listeners, who actually study your failures and go, okay, it's not a failure. I learned how not to do it. But for the most of the world, they're not. And they finally have got access to things that you and I have access to of the media. They can create podcasts. They can be on social media. They can do all kinds of things online now. But they've got no success to back them up. But they learned that they can broadcast like you and I can. Now, over the past couple of weeks, if you follow me on Facebook, I throw up these little questions and these little things to get people thinking. But no one ever connected the dots on two of them. I put two posts up, and I'm going to talk about one of them today. And I'm going to first say that I do not endorse either one of these people I'm going to talk about. I do not endorse them. I do not care for either one of them, but it's okay. They taught me something, and I actually think we need to address it. This coming weekend, all right, so as the day we're recording this, we're about a week away from Super Bowl 55. Tom Brady will be in Super Bowl 55. Tom Brady is the most winningest quarterback of, let's face it, of all time. Tom Brady has made more appearances in the Super Bowl than almost anybody. I do not like Tom Brady. Personal preference does not mean Tom Brady is not successful. Tom Brady is very successful. Tom Brady has lost a lot. And he's won a lot. We remember him for his wins, and everybody who is not a successful person studies his wins and his wins only. They all brag about his wins. They all think, oh, yep, and he's the top, and nobody can beat him until next year. You see, successful people understand that the winner of this year's Super Bowl, hopefully it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, again, because the Kansas City Chiefs have never won 2 Super Bowls in a row. Just saying. The Kansas City Chiefs, again, I hope. But anyway, the truth is, this weekend, when the Super Bowl happens, Tom Brady will have made more appearances in the Super Bowl than any quarterback in history. And it's going to be a long time before any quarterback can beat that. Let's face it, the man's been in the league for what, 20-some years? Endurance, long term. Now, I don't know if I could have taken that. I'm a wimp. I don't know if I could have taken 20 years in the NFL getting beat up like he does and still be on top. Let's face it. I don't have the body structure of Tom Brady. However, Tom Brady has done some things that actually makes it successful. Whether he wins or loses, he is going to break records this weekend. That's a fact. But Tom Brady, I'll bet you right now, is studying with his coach and his team how and what and every step and every film he can on how the Kansas City Chiefs play. They're his enemy. He wants to beat them. And he is studying their failures, their successes, so that he can learn how to beat them. Now, in the common world, I actually put a post up this week, all right? And again, that's why I mentioned it. I'm not endorsing either of these people. I said Tom Brady is the Trump of the NFL. And I put that post up just to see the responses I would get. And I love the responses. Well, Brady wins more. And I'm like, Let me give you a little thing about both Donald Trump and Tom Brady. They both have raving fans. They have raving fans. They both do. The fans that they have love them so much. They both have enemies that can't stand them. Both of them have people that really can't stand them and can't stand to see them win anymore. Both of them have won majorly. Both of them have lost majorly. The only thing that would differentiate the two is they're in two different fields. But they both have so much in common because they have both won and lost. They have both studied when they lost to learn how to get better and win next time. They both, when they were down, didn't stay down. And they both really don't care that you hate them. They will both, even though they know they have haters, will do everything in the world, all right, to win. And they will respect their haters. Both of them. Now, the successful people, the ones who are listening to this podcast, the successful people study both of them for their failures and successes. The successful people are not cutting down, even though they don't like them, moi included. They're not cutting them down because even though they don't like them, they realize that they have been successful at what they've done, and they have both achieved successes that even this guy has never reached. And many of you will never reach. I say that because many of the people who actually are connected and listening to this podcast, number one, could probably not get a job as a NFL quarterback. And for sure, most of you couldn't get the votes to probably basically some of you could get the votes to maybe become mayor of your town, but most of you could not get the votes to become president of the United States. Most of you don't have the access to build billion-dollar companies. Most of you could not take million-dollar losses and still keep going. For most of you, $1 million loss would devastate you, your family, and your family's legacy. For some, it didn't. For Donald, it didn't. Most of you, all right, could not take one tackle that Tom Brady has taken. Most of you could not stand tall and go, you know what I mean? Whatever happened with Deflategate, most of you could not take the criticism that came with what Tom Brady went through. And you couldn't take having the NFL saying you've got to sit out and still get back in and still win. Most of you couldn't take being traded to another team and still win. By the way, if Tom Brady wins this weekend, he will not be the first quarterback to win Super Bowls with two separate teams. If you know who the quarterbacks were, that the quarterback was that most recently that won Super Bowls for two separate teams, why don't you put that in the comments today? Just say it, because we know who that grade is as well. The bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, successful people, because there's a comment I made on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago, and I said, would you take advice from someone who criticizes successful people? And I said it for a reason. And I noticed some of those people who want me to take their success advice were quick to throw down their hatred for Tom Brady or Donald Trump on my other comment. Both being successful people. So you see, I won't, even though I don't like Tom Brady, I'm not going to cut down Tom Brady. Tom Brady holds records that Tim Gillette will never hold. Tim Gillette will never get clear or near those records because Tim Gillette doesn't have the skills Tom Brady has. Tim Gillette will learn from Tom Brady's failures and successes. I have spent years learning from people like Tom Brady, even though I don't like him. You know, there is a business coach in the actual speaker, in the actual space that I work in, that I just have a total distaste for. I don't hate him. As a matter of fact, I had to work side by side with him at an event a couple years ago. And I still don't think he knows that I don't like him. because I never once showed him disrespect or anything, especially when he had members of his team around him. It wasn't my job at that event to show him disrespect. No, as a matter of fact, I can learn something from him, even though I dislike him. And I mean, heavily dislike him. Now, I don't hate, because I don't hate people. But I heavily dislike this man, and I heavily dislike some of the steps he's taken to be successful. But some of the things that he has done, I've learned from. I've learned from some of his failures. For you, you can actually probably take a little lesson out of the book of the failures of Tom Brady. And remember this, whether you like Tom Brady or not, whether he wins another Super Bowl or not, Tom Brady has lost more than many of you have tried to be successful. Now, again, probably not in the people who listen to this podcast, because you, again, are successful people. It's why you tune into a podcast like the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast, because you understand that you want to learn about success from those who have both succeeded and those who have had to take steps back and learn from a failure to succeed again. It's why you're here. Successful people study failures. But there are some people out there, the reason that they are not successful is they will not step back and they will not study Tom Brady or Donald Trump, because their hate is so much greater than their own success. And ladies and gentlemen, when you hate someone more than you love your own success, then you're doomed to failure. The bottom line is, even though whether you voted for the current president or not, he is more successful than you. He got elected president. You didn't. The previous president, whether you like him or hate him, he got elected president. You didn't. And I'm pretty sure that most of the past presidents of the United States don't listen to my podcast. Well, I know one former president who's listening to my podcast, but I won't say who it is. But anyway, the truth is, most of you listening to this podcast have never achieved becoming the ruler of your country. Well, might be a problem. If you're Canadian, you probably can't be president of the United States. Just saying, Robert. Figure that one out. But you can learn from them. And I encourage you, if you want to make success simple and easy, stop failing yourself and having to rebuild. Start learning from the failure of others. Just saying. It's just kind of a shortcut to success, is learning from the failure of others. Again, to repeat for those of you who might have tuned in last. Tom Brady, whether I love him or hate him, is going to be, this coming Sunday, will be in more Super Bowls than any other quarterback in history. And he has won some and he has lost one. I think he's lost more Super Bowls than any quarterback as well. I could be wrong on that. But I believe not only has he won more Super Bowls, but I believe he has lost more Super Bowls than any quarterback as well. Check me out on that one. I'd love to hear your response in the comments. Either way, Tom Brady's a success. Whether he wins or loses this weekend, he's a success in life. What makes him a success and what keeps him a success is he still keeps trying. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why more people are missing the key to success, is they would rather hate the successful person than to learn from them. Just saying. Anyway, my name is Tim Gillette, and this is the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast. I thank you for tuning in today, and if you've made it this far, do me a favor. Hey, send me a note. Let me know you're liking these broadcasts, all right? Leave it in the comments if you're watching the video. If you're listening to this on the podcast, do me a favor, all right? Do me a favor and just kind of tell somebody about it. Share this out with your audience and let them know that this is a guy that I get some good advice from. Now, I don't want to toot my own horn, but if you are getting help from this, I want you to share this out. If you're not getting help and you just want to tune in to hear me talk, by all means, by all means, keep doing it. But I'd love a couple more subscribers. I'd love to see if we can't get our YouTube channel up to 200 people. Love to get our podcast subscribers up as well. And I could use your help in doing it. And you can also support those people who actually help make this podcast possible. Thank you very much to the folks over there at StreamYard for providing us a tool to record this with, the folks at Anchor.fm for helping us distribute it, and of course, from our own system who helps support this, and that is Simple Easy Marketing. You can find out more about what we do and how we help people by going to simpleeasyevents.com. That's simpleeasyevents.com, all one word. And you can get our membership for just $20, where you can learn all kinds of things about marketing your business, simple and easy, online, from our massive collection of speakers and trainers who have actually shared all of their information with you, the members of the community. And we have a live event coming up in the next week. So you actually get in there, you can catch some of our speakers and trainers live, as well as catch them in the portal from all of those in the past. If this makes sense to you, by all means, check in. I'm Tim Gillette, and I thank you for listening to our podcast, the Simple Easy Marketing Podcast. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. See you then. Bye.